Hello there, Medo Tama here with Lntv News Live, bringing you major developments here in Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the one world. And the big stories we're following. President George Manneh Weah makes Liberia's case in Israel as he's expected to hold high-level meeting with political and business leaders to attract investment in Liberia. A Nigerian nephrologist warns against taking pain relief drugs not prescribed by doctors as they cause kidney disease. He says, in Liberia's case, how is the private sector contributing to healthcare delivery and development? We'll bring you a report on that. And away from home, Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, rejects early election results announced by the Electoral Commission (INEC). There, these developments are all packaged. After this break, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Now, President George Manneh Weah is expected to hold a high-level meeting with Israeli political and business leaders on Tuesday to attract meaningful investment opportunities and promote the proper agenda of the government of Liberia. Also on Tuesday, President Weah will visit the Green 2000, an Israeli agriculture company, where a presentation on agriculture is expected to be made by heads of that company. According to a dispatch, the Liberian leader will also visit Mashhaf Agriculture Training Center, where he will be briefed on ongoing prospective activities in Liberia. President Weah will later travel to Lntv for a technological and innovation exhibition, which includes land forces solution, maritime and intelligence, among others. To come as the day, President Weah, accompanied by the First Lady, Minister of Foreign Affairs Gbesonga Fine, and Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji, will be presented the Shin Perez Vision for Peace and Innovation. They will then embark on the tour of the Perez Center for Innovation and Exhibition there in Jerusalem, Israel. Now, a book titled Safeguarding the Environment in Mining Development Project has been launched in the country. The book is authored by former Mines and Energy Minister Eugene Shannon. The book is authored, like I said, by the former Lands and Mines Minister Eugene Shannon. Launching the book, former Governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, Eli Selibi, said the book is important for most mining and geological students to read.
It's a great pleasure to be a part of this launching occasion. Not only because Dr. Shannon is a friend, but because the book itself is an unusual one. Most books, when we read them, they start hypothesizing or postulating and go on to prove what the conclusions are. But when he asked me and I realized I had to go through the book to be able to speak to it, I approached it with some trepidation because I wondered whether I would have the time to do so. But quite frankly, I was pleasantly surprised because the book is well organized, very lucid, it's predicated on real life examples, it's concise and revealing. I believe this book will be a must read for most mining and geology students, and certainly it will be a handbook for those in public service in the mining and related industries.
Also speaking, the Dean of Science College at the University of Liberia, Dr. Peter Humphreys, said the book will contribute immensely to the newly constituted Environment Studies at the University of Liberia.
Whatever we do in the environment, it does have a significant effect on us. So this book could not have come out at that time. Even though, if we just think about it, recently in the news, there is a disaster. Especially you can see this book directly, the link with that. It can tell you something about that and mining. So the book, you will find it very interesting in that you will learn a lot about the environment. You will learn about things that you know. Okay. And for us, at the Science College, because we have just launched studies in environmental studies, I mean degrees in environmental studies. We have a degree in the environmental science at bachelor level and degree at the master level. So these things, this book will contribute a lot to our program, because we will learn a lot. There's a lot we can see in the book. There's a lot we use in this book.
Providing the executive summary to the book, UR President Dr. Ophelia Weeks said the book will provide food of thought for environmental studies at the University of Liberia.
Indicates the fact that mining has in the past and still plays a major role in the economic sector of most developing countries, particularly in Africa. Other than the agricultural sector, both large and small-scale mining still play a significant role in the overall socio-economic and physical infrastructural development of most developing countries. As well, the activities of transnational corporations have made a major impact on the economies and employment generation of most third world countries through technology transfer and mining ventures. However, environmental damages have thus far been shortchanged. They've been overlooked.
Liberian journalists have been commended for their level of professional services to the country despite the poor economic challenges in which they are working under. According to the President of Liberia, Charles Coffey, he branded the action of Liberian media as a clear testimony of nationalism and committed to duty. Mr. Coffey noted that the role of the media is pivotal to national development and cannot be overemphasized. He spoke to Lntv News Monday.
We commend journalists across the country for the hard work people move around the nation to inform, to keep people abreast of unfolding events across the country in the midst of economic constraints, the technological advancement, to cope with all of these processes, requires commitment. And so nationalistic, and journalists are doing their work, because you don't have the media. It's like you have a vehicle power in a democratic society, the absence of media in this society like vehicle power. So we want to commend them to do their work, also exercise high level professionalism as they are doing. Those who try to breach to return to status quo, meaning that we should all be in good footing professionally. The council is open in many cases. Any action taken by the council, those actions will be upheld. So we urge our police to continue the work. Those who want to silence the media by other means should resist. We think the media is the best thing to operate with so that our country can have the kind of atmosphere that the citizens express themselves through the platform, and the media practitioners themselves will do us well. All we expect of all of us is to harmonize our concern. Liberia is a common denominator. If the country goes in confusion, you can't have media to operate. The entire system will collapse. But since we have peace over 15 years now, we will continue to media institutions are operating, we see proliferation to form diversity of media practitioner experts. So
an inception and capacity development workshop for forest landscape restoration has opened in Painesville. Speaking on behalf of the Forestry Development Authority Managing Director, the entity's technical advisor Trokon Moore provided some insight to the workshop.
This gathering is a meeting of national executing agencies of 4 Mana River Union countries, basically Republic of Liberia, Republic of Guinea, Sierra Leone, and La Côte d'Ivoire. They are here to discuss eco-water, ecosystems, water natural resource transboundary management in forest landscapes. That's why we're here.
So how far Liberia has gone in this process?
Well, Liberia is making strides. Right now, what is happening, we have the Liberian component of this Mana River Union project. We hired 4 consultants, and 1 consultant from the ROOM. ROOM is the Restoration Opportunity Assessment Methodology that will be employed for the 2 major components of this project, which is 1, integrated sustainable resource management for forests, and transparent water management. As you may be aware, we have to find sustainable livelihood sources or means for our people or communities that live in the forest.
For his part, the lead facilitator of the workshop from the Union International for Conservation of Nature, Majim Kuzi, said the workshop will empower national consultants and government in the 4 counties to effectively implement the project.
In the Manu River Union region, to kickstart that work. This week will be both a training, a capacity development event on forest landscape restoration and the role of Mayor, as well as being an inception to the development and publication of a transboundary assessment report. So we look forward to working with you this week, hearing everything you have to say about the drivers of degradation, about understanding the socioeconomic impacts that we hope to achieve and the multiple benefits for both people and planet. I think what will be important to remember throughout the week is that you have already done a lot of work.
If you're just coming our way, you're watching Lntv News Live, coming to you from Pinsville, outside of the nation's capital, Monrovia. And the big stories we're following: President George Weah makes Liberia case in Israel as he's expected to hold a high-level meeting with political and business leaders of that country to attract investments in Liberia. And still ahead after the break, a Nigerian nephrologist warns against taking pain relief drugs not prescribed by doctors, as he said they cause kidney disease. And in Liberia's case, how is the private sector contributing to the healthcare delivery and development? And away from Liberia, the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, rejects early election results announced by the National Electoral Commission of that country, INEC. But coming up after this break, we'll bring you the sports with Kalibazize. Stay with us.
And good evening and welcome to the sports, where we start with news from the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium last evening, where Barracks Young Controllers came from a goal down to whip Leicester FC in the LFA Super Cup, where BYC went fell behind despite controlling portion of the match against Leicester FC. Prince Uri scored for Leicester FC 67 minutes into that match. But a former Leicester FC player, Sami Kamara, who is now captain of BYC, came on in the 70th minute and was able to level the score for BYC almost at the end of the match. And then Yaya Berete converted in the winner in the 7th minute of extra time. The game took place at the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium. Before that, Blanco FC managed a 2-0 victory over F Angels in the Women Super Cup version. Meanwhile, the LFA National League is getting to full swing tomorrow at several venues with second division matches. And one of the eye-catching games is the clash between Invincible 11 IE and BA Mountain. Invincible 11 IE, the oldest football club in Liberia, had asked earlier to withdraw from the LFA National League. But well, they managed to stay on the fixture and they are expected to show up at the ATS tomorrow to face BA Mountain. in the first match at the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium. Also tomorrow, Mati Barrow, who appears to be rejuvenating after the takeover by the former House Speaker Alex Tyler, will be at the Doris Williams Sports Stadium in the post city of Bikina for the resumption of national champion football activities in 8 years. Mati Barrow will take on newly promoted side Samira FC, and that game is a second division match. But just before that match, the new man in charge of Mati Barrow, former Hospital Alex Tyler, paid a visit at the weekend to one of the training section for the rollers. Well, the current acting president was welcomed or taken there by the former acting president Avon Brown, who has been acting secretary as well for Mati Barrow. And this is what Avon Brown had to say when he introduced the now president of Mati Barrow to the playing team.
I want to introduce you to the honorable fellow rollers, J. Alex Tyler, who was elected as president of Mati Barrow. He was also elected with, along with Dr. Emmanuel Shaw as board chairman. And so we'll be coming up. Some of the players were there. Thank you, Vanny, Victor.
That's Avon Brown. He is LFA Executive Committee member now. Now let's hear from the man in charge of Mati Barrow, and he's on his way to the post city of Bikina to take a look at the club's first match of the season.
Well, it's great. I think the team is good. They just need to, put in more time to ensure that we take the team to where we want to have it.
Your first match in charge is on Tuesday. What's happening?
Well, there's assurances. There's assurances I have from my coach and the technical team. I think we can beat.
That's the new acting president of Mati Barrow, where the LFA League First Division Championship will kick off on Wednesday, and the women game will come on Friday. To kickball, the Liberia Kickball Federation has released its 2019 National League fixture, pairing the 18 registered clubs into 2 groups of 9. According to the LKF, 6 teams will advance from Group A and 6 from Group B, with both 12 teams getting to the next round. The league itself will kick off this Friday with second division Brazilian Giant, or the second division Giant Brazilian Girls, facing BBKC in the opening fixture. After that, the first division champions Axe Sisters will kickstart their defending of their title against Kuka Tonon, or One United Girls, in game 2, and Girls Anointed will welcome Watanga KC. That's it for the sports.
Many thanks to Koliba Zeze for bringing us our sport news right here on Lntv. Well, a visiting Nigerian nephrologist, Dr. Oyebisi Oyenkole, has stressed the need for Africa and the world at large to address the alarming death rate of the kidney disease. Dr. Oyenkole disclosed that the killer disease is globally caused by diabetes, but in Africa and Liberia, to be exact, infection, high blood pressure, and inheritance is the major cause of death. He said, in said regard, he wants Liberians to watch carefully their diets and avoid taking pain relief which are not prescribed by doctors. The Nigerian nephrologist spoke in an exclusive interview with Lntv News.
But in Africa, we have more of infection, glomerulonephritis, and then followed by high blood pressure, hypertension. Then you have a lot of toxic nephropathies, people taking illicit drugs, about concussion, and so many things that we take that we don't know it affects our kidneys. These are one of the, and some of them can be inherited. You have polycystic kidney disease that runs in the family, and in that case they have cysts in their kidney, and the kidneys become like that. Over time it fails. But likely, if we take care of hypertension, take care of infections, we take care of diabetics, then we take care of what we eat in terms of drugs, especially pain relievers that we call NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, that people use commonly because the nature of their work. All these things can affect the kidney and damage their kidney.
The private sector is said to be making some strides to contribute to Liberia's health sector. Globally, the private sector is a major partner to health development. But is it the case in Liberia? Well, Lntv has been doing an investigation on the private sector contribution to healthcare delivery in the country. And back in studio, my colleague Julius Compton compiled this report.
In the midst of Liberia's challenged health sector, there are some prospects and shining time ahead, especially with the involvement of the private sector. But how exactly is the private sector viewing Liberia's health system? Here is Kashri Gabanin.
I can say we are trying to improve the better health sector. That's why we came, because from so many years we have been watching. A lot of people approach me, Indians and all, that there was a need here. That's why we came. And from my side, government is trying their best, and from our private sector, we try our best.
Mr. Kabani named in some of the services that they are rendering to contribute to Liberia's health system.
Yeah, we deal a lot of cases. In fact, we have a laboratory to diagnose any disease, not only malaria or typhoid, but we have a diagnosis here. We can do hormones, male hormones, infertility, female hormones, and apart from that, liver functions, kidney functions. I mean, a lot of tests we can do here.
As per law and regulation, health institutions should not advertise what they are having in their facility. However, due to our curiosity investigatively, we discovered this machine. Dr. Oibesi Oyekula, a Nigerian neurologist and consultant, explains its usage.
This is a dialysis machine. This is what you use to replace temporarily the function of the kidney or patient who has kidney failure. It could be acute, it could be chronic. So what this machine does essentially is to provide power, motor to draw the blood from the patient. And this is artificial kidney. This is where the blood will come. This line will take blood from the patient into this artificial kidney through the pump here. Then the blood will go through this kidney. This kidney will now wash the blood of all the impurities. Then to return back to the blood will return back to the patient. So it's run like that for about 4 hours on each patient.
Dr. Oyekula, a visiting Nigerian doctor, disclosed his mission and intervention to the country's health sector.
Came specifically to intervene the issue of chronic kidney disease, which we all know is ravaging everywhere in the world. Like 1 out of 4 individuals has one form of chronic kidney disease or the other. And it's a deadly disease if nothing is done. And it's also costly to maintain in terms of hemodialysis or kidney transplant. And by my information I have, this is probably the first dialysis center around here. So since I came, we have been able to save the life of 1 or 2 people.
Well, that Nigerian doctor ending that report by Julius Compton there. To this one now, where the executive director of the Liberia Albino Society, Patricia Logan, has called on national government to see the need to support them to ensure that they extend their services to all parts of the country. Well, Madam Logan said once they are well supported, they will provide door-to-door healthcare delivery services in rural parts of Liberia.
Let the people talk. Support us. Let us go door to door. Let us do Jehovah with this kind of a movement where we will go from door to door, bring the sick people out of those houses, and making sure that we can treat them. As I said, my own work of start is not to involve into politics. It's to make sure that to reach out to the poor. If this government wants to be successful, trust me, if they work with the institution, we will go into the mountains, the forests, to make sure that we reach out to the poor. We take that, and that's why Madam Seri was able to honor me. She was able to give me that distinction of work, and that actually brought me to the floor. So I want to tell them that let them support. This next budgetary year, they shouldn't play with our budget. 85,000 is nothing, I can tell you for sure. Working towards and taking care of human beings, that money is nothing. We have about 36 staff within the institution. We have our 6 liaison officers that need to be taken care of. We have our stations that we need to reach out to our ability members in those countries.
Away from whom now, Nigeria's main opposition party has rejected the election results being announced by the Electoral Commission, branding them as incorrect and unacceptable. 4 of the 5 states counted already have gone to President Muhammadu Buhari, constituting more than 1.3 million votes, while rival candidate Atiku Abubakar has 1.1 votes so far. Well, here's an excerpt by Al Jazeera reporter in Lagos on the outcome of the election there in Nigeria.
Many Nigerians are watching election officials closely. These voters in the commercial capital Lagos say they want to make sure there's no rigging. Last week's delay has cast doubts on the Electoral Commission's credibility and competence.
We were never told the numbers of voters that are supposed to vote in this unit. The accredited numbers of voters we were not told. Probably it will give room for manipulation somehow.
The race to govern the country with Africa's biggest economy pits incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari against main opposition candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Emotions are high. There are fears a disputed result could lead to violence. Although there were delays in some parts of Nigeria, election officials say they're genuinely happy with the turnout. Now Nigerians have to wait to find out who has won and by what margin. Analysts say it's going to be a tight race.
Well, in another West African country, Senegal, the Prime Minister there said, his name is Mohamed Dion, says incumbent President Macky Sall is headed towards a second term in office, obtaining more than 57% of the votes so far. Yet we have another report compiled by Al Jazeera reporter in Dakar.
Counting the vote under the careful watch of party observers and a nation waiting for the name of its new president. Will it be incumbent President Sall, or Idrissa Seck, or the outsider Ousmane Sonko?
We want to be as transparent as possible so that no one questions the results, so we will announce the names publicly in front of everyone's presence.
Voters came early, some queuing for hours. Patiently waiting their turn is 76-year-old Assane Ndiaye. It's his 11th presidential election. Stability and change, a promise candidate Sall, running for a second mandate, says he can bring. But rival candidate Idrissa Seck says Sall's failed to deliver so far. Political newcomer Sonko goes further, saying the political system has failed the people.
Well, many thanks to all of you for watching Lntv News Live tonight. Before we let go of a reminder of the big stories we followed. President George Weah makes Liberia's case in Israel as he's expected to hold a high-level meeting with political and business leaders in that country to attract investment back in Liberia. A Nigerian nephrologist warned against taking pain relief drugs not prescribed by doctors as they cause kidney disease. In Liberia's case, how is the private sector contributing to the healthcare delivery system and development of the country? And away from home, Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, rejects early election results announced by the Electoral Commission, INEC. Many thanks to all of you for watching the news. Many thanks to all of our reporters, contributors, switchers, and reporters for making this edition a success. On behalf of the entire production team here at the Liberia National Television, my name is Edward Thomas. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.